Welcome to OLevels Economics Unit 12, Price Elasticity of Supply. Economists use price elasticity of supply to measure how responsive the supply of a good or service is to changes in its price. In simple terms, it tells us how much the quantity supplied changes when prices rise or fall. The formula for PES is the percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price, written as PES equals percent change in QS divided by percent change in P. To calculate PES, we use a method similar to that for price elasticity of demand, except this time we focus on the producer's side. We calculate the percentage change in quantity supplied and divide it by the percentage change in price. For instance, if the quantity supplied rises from 100 units to 130 units, when the price increases from $10 to $12, the percentage change in quantity supplied is 30%, while the percentage change in price is 20%. Dividing these gives us a pairs of 1.5, meaning that a 1% rise in price will cause a 1.5% increase in the quantity supplied. Since price and quantity supplied move in the same direction, PES is always a positive value. The higher the PES, the more responsive supply is to a change in price. For example, a PES of 2.6 means that a 1% rise in price leads to a 2.6% rise in the quantity supplied, showing high elasticity. Supply can be classified as either elastic or inelastic. When supply is elastic, the percentage change in quantity supplied is greater than the percentage change in price, so PES is greater than 1. This means producers can quickly increase output when prices rise. Elastic supply is represented by a relatively flat curve. In contrast, when supply is inelastic, the percentage change in quantity supplied is smaller than the percentage change in price, meaning PES is less than 1. Inelastic supply curves are steeper, showing that producers cannot easily change their output even when prices rise. When examining the price elasticity of supply, economists consider three main factors that determine whether supply is elastic or inelastic. The first factor is time period. In the short run, supply is usually inelastic because firms cannot quickly adjust their factors of production. For example, a company can't instantly build a new factory or buy new machinery. However, in the long run, supply becomes more elastic. Over time, firms can expand their production capacity, invest in better equipment, and hire more workers to respond to price changes. The second factor is the cost and feasibility of altering supply. If it's cheap and easy to increase output, for instance, by using idle machinery or extra labor, then supply tends to be elastic. But if it's costly or difficult to raise production, such as needing to construct a new plant or hire highly specialized workers, supply becomes inelastic. The third factor is the feasibility of storage. When goods can be stored easily and at low cost, firms can hold onto them and release more onto the market when prices rise, making supply more elastic. On the other hand, if goods are perishable or expensive to store, like fresh produce or services, then supply will be more inelastic. Besides elastic and inelastic supply, there are other special cases of PAS. Perfectly inelastic supply occurs when the quantity supplied does not change regardless of price changes. Giving a pairs of 0A good example is a cinema's seating capacity. No matter how high ticket prices go, the number of seats remains the same in the short run. The supply curve is a vertical line. Perfectly elastic supply, on the other hand, means that any small change in price will cause an infinite change in supply with a PAS of infinity. This usually happens in highly competitive markets where firms will supply whatever quantity consumers demand at a fixed price. The supply curve is a horizontal line. Finally, unitary elasticities occurs when the percentage change in quantity supplied is exactly equal to the percentage change in price, represented by a straight line through the origin. Elasticity of supply can also change over time. In the short run, supply is often more inelastic because firms cannot quickly alter production levels. But in the long run, it becomes more elastic as producers can expand factories, switch resources, and adapt to new technology. Technological advancements, in particular, make production faster and cheaper, leading to more elastic supply. For instance, improvements in printing technology have made it easier to produce and distribute magazines, allowing publishers to quickly introduce or withdraw titles based on demand. The concept of PES has important implications for consumers, producers, and governments. Consumers benefit when supply is elastic because producers can respond quickly to rising demand without causing large price increases. Producers also prefer elastic supply since it allows them to increase production and profits when prices rise. Governments consider PES when designing policies. For example, subsidies are more effective when supply is elastic because producers can increase output more easily. This is why many governments encourage flexibility in production by making it easier for firms to hire and adjust labour. In summary, price elasticity of supply measures how responsive quantity supplied is to changes in price. Supply is elastic when it changes by a greater percentage than price, and inelastic when it changes by a smaller percentage. The main factors influencing PES are how quickly production can be adjusted, how costly it is to change output, and whether goods can be stored. Supply is usually inelastic for products that take time to produce or cannot be stored, but it becomes more elastic over time. The 5 main categories of PES are elastic, inelastic, perfectly inelastic, and unitary elasticity. Understanding PES helps economists, businesses, and governments make smarter decisions about production, pricing, and resource allocation. Thanks for watching.